Ashley Brooks.
And I'm Ty Gowan.
And welcome to Unclouded Eye, your source for the weekly astrological forecast and some cosmic chit-chat.
And I'm ready to get going today.
Yes, and I actually have another gift for you from my mom.
Oh my gosh, really?
Yes.
I love the stamps.
So,
what we got here? Oh, a t-shirt.
Yes, my mom made us both t-shirts.
Oh my gosh. Unclouded Eye t-shirts?
Yes, it's an Unclouded Eye t-shirt.
Oh my God, look what the back says. Sweet baby Caron.
Sweet baby Chiron.
That's
and
amazing.
Mine says, Baby
was
wasn't
born Betty. She's listening to the show.
Baby wasn't born Betty. Yeah, because I think we said we need t-shirts, so that she made us t-shirts.
She made us t-shirts. She's actively listening to the podcast.
Yeah, she is. She's so sweet.
Oh my gosh. Thank you, Kathy.
Thank you, Mom.
Again, another shout out to the nicest person in the world.
Yes, I know. She's like the Snow White of.
Oh yeah. Scout has alerted that there are people home, so sorry about that.
Oh, that is okay.
That's fine. Okay, sorry for the brief pause there. Ash, thank you for the shirt. Kathy, thank you so much for the shirt with the quote on the back. Scout is just terrified of doors closing. So that car door shut, and if he hears another one, we might get another bark. But
okay.
Yeah, so
that's all right.
Sorry, everybody. Dogs are afraid of cars.
Yeah, Momo and Scout are the friendly animals you might see around here.
Yeah, until we get enough Patreon supporters to have our own studio, Momo and Scout will be characters on this podcast.
I feel like people might like that. They're not going to want to sign up for Patreon. They're like, keep the animals.
It's convenient for me. So Either way, want to just dive into the forecast?
Yeah, let's do it. Okay, so this week on Monday, September 9th, Mercury is moving into Virgo at 2:50 a.m. Eastern Time. And this is a big deal because if you remember, Mercury was in Virgo and then it retrograded back into Leo.
And now we're back in Virgo?
We're finally back to Virgo. Okay. So now we're making some forward momentum. We're making some forward progress.
Mercury retrograde is over.
Yeah, it's officially over. And now we're out of the revisit to Leo. And Mercury is solidly here in Virgo. So Mercury is actually the ruler of Virgo. So it's very comfortable here in this placement. And when Mercury is in Virgo, it's very analytical. There's a lot of attention given to detail. We might be able to focus greater on small details and be able to analyze things and ask a lot of questions and dig a little bit deeper to understand things and kind of see them from all angles, but more of like that detail-oriented thinking. It can be really good for research or studying or anything that's going to allow us to communicate with others in a very detail-oriented way.
That's so helpful compared to last weekend's forecast.
Yes.
You know, where it was muddled and confusing and whatnot.
Scattered,
so,
yeah.
This is back on track.
This is definitely more focused. And actually on Wednesday, September 11th, we have Mercury sextile Mars, which is another really positive transit. If you remember, sextiles are very harmonious and gentle. And with this transit, Mercury is currently at 4 degrees Virgo. Mars is at 4 degrees Cancer because it just moved into Cancer last week. We talked about that. And so this helps us to communicate in a very clear and direct manner and really get down to business. This is great for business dealings. It's great for coming up with new brainstorming ideas, but that are going to be possible to execute, because sometimes with brainstorming, especially when Mercury's in a more kind of abstract place, it can make for like really big ideas, but there's no way to pull it off. But this is very much like, okay, we're coming up with these ideas, but we have a plan for how to execute them. So That's great for work. It's great for just any creative kind of back and forth that you're having with people.
This is a good, helpful week so far.
So far, so good. So that one's happening at 11:41 p.m. Eastern Time on Wednesday, the 11th, but we're feeling it all day on Wednesday. Thursday, September 12th, we got a little bit of a tense aspect, but it's still not that negative, even though it is a square. So we have the Sun squaring Jupiter. The Sun is currently at 20 degrees Virgo, and Jupiter is at 20 degrees of Gemini, and they are squaring one another. So that's that 90-degree angle in the sky that feels a little tense and harsh. So the thing about that is that the Sun and Jupiter are both considered benefic planetary bodies.
You told me that.
So even when they are squaring, it's still better than when some other planets are squaring. It just makes the energy very big. So
right, because Jupiter expands.
Yes, and the Sun is very big and this giver of light and energy and life. So when they're squaring, we have a lot of big personalities coming out of the woodworks. People are really like showing their ego off. There could be some egoic thinking, and some of it could be fun and adventurous and just big and grand and colorful, but others could be really trying to put their stamp on things and could get frustrated if they're not given the attention and time that they want. So you might have a lot of people really wanting to be seen and heard, and some people could be fighting for the spotlight.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Sunday, September 15th, we have our last 2 transits for the week. We have Venus trining Jupiter at 1:34 a.m. And this one's really nice. This is wonderful for relationships and friendships, very social, harmonious, and a little bit of artistic kind of boost coming through as well on Sunday.
Oh, we should film one of these podcasts.
We absolutely should.
There's a filming day. I love it. We've decided.
Yeah, well, then you got Mars squaring the nodes that day too. So.
What's happening there then?
Okay, so that's happening at 10:24 p.m., but it's building up for like a few days before, and then we'll feel it throughout the start of the week, next week as well. So Mars is currently at 6 degrees Cancer, squaring the nodes of the moon, which are at Aries and Libra in 6 degrees. And this is kind of a lot. This can make us feel like we really want to have change in our lives. We want to take action. We want to do something, anything.
Okay.
But what is it? I don't know. Like I feel like I need to do something, but I'm not sure where to go.
Oh my God. That's my anxiety all the time. Like I hate that.
It's like a restless feeling of being like, I need to achieve something. I need to do something. I need to make something of myself, but I'm kind of stuck because I don't want to risk losing these things that I already have. So what if I take a chance and I lose those? But I can't stay here forever. So what do? That can play out in different ways. Like you might be feeling it in career. It depends on where Mars is transiting in your personal chart. That's going to tell you kind of where that might play out. It might play out career-wise. It might play out in relationships. It might play out more like in like an existential way, like what am I doing with my life type of thing. So it could be on varying levels, or it might be like something simple for you, like I don't know what I want to eat for dinner tonight. Like either way, there's like this indecision coming up and this feeling of wanting to take action, but not being sure of where to put that energy. So my advice is maybe like don't force yourself to make a change just for the sake of doing it. If you're having that restless energy, put it into a random project in your house. Like it doesn't have to go towards that feeling. It just needs some outlet.
This is why I have like no less than 4 writing projects on standby at any given time, which gives me anxiety anyway that I'm not always working on them, but they're always available.
Yeah, they're always there, and you can go to those, or if you're feeling even stuck by those, maybe it's the day that you finally clean out your kitchen cabinets. Like something like that can happen. You just need a project, you need something to pour that energy into, even if it's like I'm going to go for a walk. Like I need something to do that feels like I'm taking action.
To know how Mars affects your life, I recommend getting a natal chart done by Ashley Brooks.
Yeah, so you can get a natal chart done if you want to know about your own Mars, or if you want to see how transiting Mars is affecting you. You can do my future fortune reading, which allows you to look at your transits for the upcoming 3 to 6 months.
And I'm not opposed to doing a self-plug here for sending everyone to Unclouded Eye to get that done.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, if you want a reading, you can go to uncloudedeye.net. I would love to read for you.
Yeah, make it happen, guys. Mine is scarily accurate. Maybe when we come around my birthday time, we can explore that chart.
Yeah, I should do a reading for you on air. That would be fun, because I feel like the last time I did it was like when I was first starting out, and it was 10 years ago.
You gave me like 14 pages of information, and all of it was crazy accurate.
Well, just think how good it would be now after a decade.
I'm ready. I'm a decade of practice. I'm ready.
Yeah. All right, so that's the forecast. It's not bad this week. There's a couple challenging things, but mostly very helpful skies ahead.
Perfect. You ready to jump into my portion then?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, we've known each other well enough that I know that I'm fascinated by belief systems.
Yes.
But with that, I want you to check me as we're doing this, because I want to be really careful that I ensure to speak about this subject from an informed place in a respectful fashion, because I think this specific topic gets co-opted often as a magical gag, like in that's not what I'm coming from here. I live outside of this culture, so it's, I can't speak to it from a lived experience.
Okay.
So this is really me just talking about voodoo as a white man. Okay.
Yes.
So I want to call that out before we dive into it.
We are just coming at it from a place of respect and curiosity.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So on that subject, and knowing that a lot of voodoo has its roots in Haiti, your dad's done a lot of mission work there too. Not like mission work as in a religious sense, but basically charity and stuff like that. Can you tell us a little bit about what your dad, his experiences in Haiti or whatnot?
Yeah. So my dad had been going to Haiti for decades when I was younger, starting back in like the 80s and throughout, I think like the early 2010s, he was doing work in Haiti, and he did underwater research and salvage, and he employed a lot of different Haitians when he was down there. He helped build some schools, and he did a lot of charity work with the orphanages down there. And during Hurricane Katrina, he led a mission to bring a shipload of supplies down to Haiti, and he had to deal with a lot of red tape getting there. It took him almost a month to like get through, but he and his team managed to get those down there to them.
I remember helping load up the boat.
Yeah.
Before he went down.
Yeah, there was a lot of supplies, like local businesses.
The local
together.
news was there.
Oh, yeah.
It was it left an impression on me,
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he had a lot of friends in Haiti that, I even got to meet a couple that came up, to work for a while before they had to go back to Haiti, but a lot of really kind-hearted people that he met down there.
I love it. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
Jumping into how voodoo plays into Haiti, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to cite a source from the University of Delaware. It's spelled Vodou, voodoo. That version of it is a creolized religion that originated in the West Indies of Haiti during the 17th century. The foundations of this practice, however, evolved from tribal religions near modern-day Nigeria. And the word itself is supposed to mean spirit, because that funnels in a lot of what the Haitian beliefs are centralized about. So slave owners in Haiti and beyond tried to crush this religious practice when it was brought over from Africa, and replace it with Catholicism, because that's what we did. But in resistance to that, modern day voodoo is kind of a fusion of Creole, West Indian Haitian beliefs and butchered Catholicism, which kind of makes it a super funky version of itself.
Yes. Okay. That makes sense.
When it moved to the United States with the sale of slaves, unfortunately, it eventually became voodoo, spelled Voodoo. That's the New Orleans version of voodoo.
Right. Okay.
And that's kind of what we're going to be talking about today, because having been to New Orleans, seeing it firsthand, that's what I've touched, and that's what you've experienced. So I want to talk the best version that I can speak to it about.
Okay.
So the primary focus of this belief system is that the world and everything in it is made up of spirits. Everything has spirit. Humans are the spirits that inhabit the living world, but a lot of voodoo works with the invisible world or the unseen world, and it's made up of spirits known as Loa, which I think are the most common things that are associated with voodoo in what I knew about originally. But during this research, I found out that they also are related to unseen things called mysteries, but spelled differently. The invisibles, angels, your far back ancestors, and as well as the very recently deceased who have not fully crossed over.
That sounds super fascinating. I love that.
I love it too. It's a spirit-based religion. So the role of the voodoo practitioner is to serve these spirits. You work as an intermediary. You offer prayers, you leave tributes, and you perform you practice rites, I would say, for these spirits in exchange for favors, kind of. So voodoo altars are well-known in pop culture because they're so striking, but they're also central to this practice. Specific Loa will want certain things. Like I believe Papa Legba likes cigarettes.
Yes, I've heard he likes tobacco.
He does. And when I went to New Orleans for my first time, I visited a lot of the old I would say, prominent voodoo masters, and they have their own altars there that are in little shops that are paying tribute to them. And it was really cool practice of like, there'd be a sign that says this person in life preferred this, and you'd see that all over their altar, or this person like
rum or fruit or flowers,
exactly
certain flowers. Yeah.
So it's a nice connection to who this person used to be and how you can respectfully pay homage to them.
Yes. And the idea is that like if you give them those things, then you are able to ask for a favor.
Exactly. In return, there's reciprocity
or
there.
Something.
So Catholic influences are sprinkled in, especially with voodoo feasts mirror Romanized Catholic holidays, which I didn't realize that either.
I didn't know that.
But one major deviation between Catholicism and voodoo is the practice of possession. So the key part of this religion, and one of the crucial ways that practitioners perform their rites and communicate with Loa and other unseen spirits, is to welcome them into the visible world by calling them into your body.
Sounds scary, but I guess if you know what you're doing, maybe.
Exactly. It's like everything that we've been taught not to allow happen, especially working on Haunt Me for a decade, right?
Right.
It's one of the central focuses of how to work with Loa is to have a very tight connection with them.
Yeah.
So as a key part of this religion, one of the most crucial ways practitioners perform these rituals is to put out offerings and basically pull them in, communicate with them while you're in a possessed state, and basically supply messages back to the visible world. And they do this both with, ancestors, but also all the way up to the highest strata of the Loa as well. And so some of those Loa for the New Orleans voodoo that we're talking about include Papa Legba, who is, I think he's the big one, like the one that everyone seems to know about.
Yeah.
He has dominion over the crossroads. So if you're making a deal, you're making one with Papa Legba.
So like the idea of like Robert Johnson, maybe it wasn't the devil, it was Papa Legba.
Legba. Beautiful connection.
Right?
Beautiful. Yes.
Yeah.
Can you explain that a little bit more?
Yeah. So the idea was, Robert Johnson was an early blues guitarist, and there's this prevailing lore or myth around how he suddenly kind of disappeared. I guess he was kind of like a mediocre guitar player, and then he disappeared for a year or so, and he came back and he was one of the most talented blues guitarists that the world had seen, or that area of the world had seen.
But he credits it.
Or according to legend, he went to the crossroads and made a deal with the devil, or maybe Papa Legba, and he apparently sold his soul for the ability, which maybe he just practiced and got better on his own, or maybe that's what happened. We don't know.
But again, stories, like we talked about the Illuminati, the story is better than reality. You know?
Exactly.
So before we jump into the birth chart, some others, Loa, that I just want to call out here that I'd never heard of are Bondi, the creator, Mama Bridget, and I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing these wrong, is a Loa associated with the underworld. But the big one that I remember from a game we used to play called Atmosphere is Baron Samedi, and he's associated with the Grim Reaper, but cooler.
Yeah, so he has a top hat.
He has a top hat, and like somehow in pop culture gets wound up with zombies. Zombieism.
I know that the game that we had, the reason why I said the zombies, because they always were like, Baron Samedi,
the zombie. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So if you guys haven't played Atmosphere from the 90s.
The VHS version was from the 90s, and then the DVD version that I have is from like 2002 or 2003 or something.
Love that game.
Yeah, but it's a lot of fun. It has like these different mythical beings, or it's got like Elizabeth Bathory you can play as, or Baron Samedi.
And I was always Gavaldin the werewolf.
Yes.
Yeah. Were you were the poltergeist most often, right?
No, I was Khufu the mummy.
Khufu the mummy, that's right. I'm sorry. That's right.
Okay. I think Margie was Helen the poltergeist.
Helen the poltergeist. I love that game.
Me too.
Well, I'm going to jump you right into our Voodoo sponsored birth chart today.
Okay.
So we don't have a birth time, but we have
1800s.
9/10/1801 in New Orleans itself.
Alrighty. So the first thing that I'm noticing with this person is they have their sun is in Virgo, as is their Mercury and Saturn. They've got that all conjunct their midheaven. So this person has a lasting legacy. There's something that follows them. They definitely had a lot of pull to them, a lot of influence, and they were likely a person that was well respected and well known when they were alive.
Really?
But they have a lasting legacy as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. And there's a certain level of, how would I describe it? Discernment that is coming from all that Virgo energy, detail oriented, like they are very knowledgeable, like a source of knowledge that could be sought out. And Mercury is opposing Pluto, which means that they were able to see almost when people were lying. Like there's a natural ability to kind of look below the surface.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, I don't
want
know.
that.
Yeah, I know. I don't know if that's true, but it's kind of like Mercury and Pluto, when they're making any aspect in a birth chart, it gives somebody a taste for like digging below, digging deeper, like almost like a detective. But when it's opposing, that's like a very almost preternatural ability to kind of look below and see like what the meaning of something is. But at times it might make them a little more paranoid or a little more like guarded.
Okay, cool.
Yep. They have a bunch of stuff in Libra as well. Their moon is in Libra. And they have an exact conjunction of Mars and Uranus, which would make this person not somebody you'd want to mess with. There's a lot of
I love that a birth chart says like, don't mess with me.
Yeah, no, I mean, they're diplomatic because it's in Libra. Mars conjunct Uranus in Libra. Like you might, and it's in the 11th house of friendship and community. People knew like to respect this person, or if the very least they would find out, you know, like I almost get the sense that this person would be very protective of people they care about.
The way you phrase that just sent a chill down my spine. Like,
That's just what I'm getting from it. But they're like also kind of a sweetheart too. There's like a kindness there too with the moon in Libra and this Virgo. Like they seem very gentle, but there's like a lot of like drive under the surface, I guess. And yeah, that opposition to Pluto is interesting. They're Sagittarius. Actually, we don't know that they're a Sagittarius rising. And we don't actually know that that's in the 11th house because we don't know the time. So I realized I was just reading houses, but maybe there's something to that because I just felt compelled to do it. But yeah, they have Mercury sextile Neptune, very intuitive, very aware of other people's energies, just being very like intelligent of other people's emotions and energies for sure. And their Venus is in Leo, sextiling over to Mars. They know their worth. This person knows their worth. There's confidence there.
Ready for this one?
Yeah.
That is the astral chart, or the natal chart, I should say, for the Creole voodoo queen herself, Marie Laveau. Wow. That's power.
That is power.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That was cool to listen to you read that out. Like,
yeah, that's I see it for sure. Wow.
Want to learn a little bit about her as a person?
I would love to. I mean, there's so much like pop culturally that I would love to know the actual facts.
Exactly. Like Angela Bassett from American Horror Story.
Oh, yeah.
Amazing version of that.
Oh, my gosh. So powerful.
So Marie was actually a free woman of color in the 1800s.
Wow.
Right? So
Wonderful.
New Orleans was still under Spanish and French control. Therefore, slavery wasn't instituted there at the time. Love it. Wish it could have stayed that way.
Yeah.
So not much is known about her childhood, of course. So I can't speak to, some of those aspects that we were talking about. But as an adult, she, in 1819, wed another free man named Jacques Paris. And they had two daughters together who unfortunately died in childhood.
Oh.
Jacques himself would also die 4 years later.
Oh, that's so sad.
She would soon find a French nobleman, and the research was kind of wishy-washy on whether or not they were married or they were just together.
Okay.
But they allegedly had 15 children together. And the records of that is also wishy-washy of like, was it a blended marriage? And, like...
Yeah, like he came to the marriage with like 6 or something.
Right. Because otherwise it's like, I'm looking at the math. It's like she had 17 children in her lifetime and also had time to become the voodoo queen. I
mean, what else? We didn't have... social media distracting us. Think of all the kids.
You could have. That's right. 17 of them. So
it's too many.
We're going to take that with a grain of salt, but either way, family was important. Let's take that away.
Yeah. I saw that from her chart.
So during this time, also while she was raising these children, she was a devout practitioner of voodoo for healing. She was also a master herbalist, entrepreneur, and community activist. Not to be messed with, though.
Yeah.
She started a beauty parlor for wealthier New Orleans families where she would do their hair, but this was also how she obtained information about the community by listening to white people's gossip. That put her at a stellar position in the community because she knew everyone's secrets.
Yes. That's like digging below with that Mercury opposite Pluto.
That's right. That finding out the lies, finding out the truth while doing hair,
Yep. Seeming unassuming, she's got that sweet Libra moon. Like some people might not assume.
Exactly. Especially if you don't know who she is in the community and you just look at her as your hairdresser, you don't know that you're talking to the future queen of New Orleans, So she also worked as a voodoo consultant during this time, and she would make money by providing advice and also selling gree charms. And do you know what a gree is?
Why don't you tell me just so I don't?
So I don't want to botch it either because it's broad, right? Yeah. So gree charms are also something like a hex bag or something, like a little bauble almost that had a specific function that you would put together. And in voodoo, it's called a gree.
Okay.
And so there's different ways to activate it. The ones that I saw in Marie Laveau's shop when I went down a couple times are activated with urine because it's just,
like drop of blood or urine. Yeah.
Very strange practices to us, very normal for voodoo, it just is what it is. But so gree is something like that. It's a little teeny bauble that you could buy from Marie Laveau to fix a problem in your life.
Kind of like a spell bag in like modern Wicca.
Absolutely. So she was known to visit prisoners who were sentenced to death, and rumors spread that she would give them poisons before they would go to the gallows so that they wouldn't have to be killed in front of people. But again, that's a great story, never proven.
Right.
And instead, there's actually a witness testimony that said that instead of doing this, if the prisoner wanted it, she would sit with them and have communion. Because the more I learn about her is I love Marie Laveau. She's so cool.
She is cool.
She also used her knowledge. I'm going to steer away from voodoo power, right? Because that's where we get a little Hollywood.
Her expertise.
Her expertise and her knowledge. She cared for the community during a yellow fever epidemic of 1878. Where she tended to the sick.
She was 77 then.
Herbal remedies and prayers. Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. So she's just taking her stuff and knows what to do, and she's helping her community out.
Grandma Marie.
So during her lifetime, she became the third ever female voodoo leader of New Orleans and held this title until her death on June 15, 1881. But like you said, her legacy continues.
Oh, yeah. She's the one that, I'd say one of the top people that you think about when you think about voodoo.
Exactly. Yeah. And also, she's still working.
Can you explain what you mean?
I would love to. If you visit Marie Laveau's grave, you'll notice where it is in the New Orleans cemetery because it's a tomb covered in triplicates of X's. She said that in accordance with Laveau's death wishes, that if people still wanted her to work with her and they wanted a wish granted, to visit her tomb and draw 3 X's on it, turn around 3 times, then knock on the tomb and she will be listening. Call out your wish. She also requests that when she fulfills your wish, that you come back to the tomb and circle your X to leave an offering to her so people will know that she's still continuing to do the good work of New Orleans.
Are there circled X's?
Yes, there are. Absolutely.
Did you do it?
I did not do it.
Oh, wow. I think I would.
Would you do it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think when I visited New Orleans, for me specifically, I was still in the Hollywood version of voodoo is scary instead of a religious belief held by wonderful people.
Yeah. When we're young, there's so many rumors voodoo dolls or something.
Exactly.
I don't know if there's any legitimacy to that, but I feel like no.
It's such a broad practice. It could be.
Yeah. But not the Hollywood way.
It's not jabbing pins into eyes and someone across the world, loses their vision type of thing.
Right.
But it's a lot of intention work.
Yeah.
More than anything. But that's Marie Laveau.
Wow. What an amazing life and very interesting chart too. So much. It's interesting because it reminds me a little bit like the amount of Libra and Virgo is just kind of a little bit similar to the Beyonce stuff we were looking at last week. Just a powerful legacy.
Powerful woman.
Yeah.
Powerful legacy.
We've done 2 powerful women in the last couple weeks.
I love it. We'll bring some more. Actually, No, we won't.
Not this month.
Not on the list. For the rest of September. We got some weird stuff coming up next.
Oh, I'm all for any of it. So yeah.
Cool. But anyway, so yeah, that was Marie Laveau.
I love it.
And again, I know we called it out earlier, but I think you do such good work, Ash, and we're talking about other people who do great work. So I want to call out your Patreon. People who support the Patreon are helping support this show, and people who visit your website can get these natal readings done too.
Yeah. Yes. Patreon's a lot of fun. I have a podcast I do over there called Planetary Potion. It's just me, and I go in depth for every day of the week, and I jump into the astrology for each day of the week. So if you want to like plan the flow of your week or just understand astrology a little better, that's a good tool. I also do monthly horoscopes every time we get into a new zodiac season. There's some extra bonus podcast content that we do where we answer people's questions, or we do like little readings or things. So you can find us over there, patreon.com/unclouded_I. It's only $5 a month. So yeah, come join us.
Yeah, and I think probably for next month, we'll make it special for October. Maybe opening up some rune readings if someone wants to try that.
Yeah, we should figure that out for sure. So you can find us there. You can go to uncloudedi.net for more info on readings, and find us on social media as well.
I love it. And so what are some of the top things people should think about for next week, Ash, before we wrap this up today?
Oh, next week we have a full super moon in Pisces, and eclipse season is beginning.
Oh, cool.
Yep. And that's probably the big stuff. But we also have the sun is going to move into Libra at the end of next week. So we're going to talk about Libra and highlight our Libran friends.
Cool. Remind me to ask you how eclipses affect zodiac.
Absolutely.
Cool.
All right. Well, have a great week, everybody.
Bye. Unclouded Eye stars Ashley Brooks and Ty Gowan. It's produced and directed by Nick Nordfors. Music is by Ashley Jane Cecilia and Jay Caron. Our community manager is Erin Cross. Art is by Don Aquarius. It's presented by Haunt Me, and you can visit that on YouTube at Haunt Me Official. Follow us on Instagram at Unclouded Eye and Patreon at Unclouded_I. And special shout out to Margie Crail and Christopher Lipscomb for following us on the Patreon. Thank you guys.